Hello everyone, and welcome back to episode 3 of Don't Drink and Draft, a show where you should be doing what I say and not what I do. My name is Dom, also known as the D20 of God. Today I am pairing an Avatar draft with some red wine that I have already forgotten the year, variety, whatever, doesn't matter now. It's in the glass, half of it's in the glass, half of it's in me. None of the draft has been started, so let's get on to that. So some of you keen-eyed listeners may have noticed that in my previous episodes I mentioned that I was working my way back up to Mythic number 1, a position that I have been on Arena before, and then I proceeded to play 2 unranked drafts. I kind of totally forgot, I didn't really realize that the traditional draft is not ranked anymore because there was that weird bug during the powered cube where your rank was visible. I don't know if it increased. I had thought it was increasing, but it was just visible. But turns out that your rank doesn't go up if you do traditional drafts. So today we're doing best of 1, which is, along with many professional Magic players' opinions, the worst way of playing Magic. Just absolutely hands down the worst way, especially when you've got these really lovely swingy sets from play boosters. You really want a best of 3 so that your deck doesn't just crap itself out and then lose 3 times in a row and lose the whole thing when the deck was perfectly capable of putting up a 3-0 on a traditional draft with sideboarding. Gonna be honest, this pack's kinda trash. Pretty tempted to just take the Realm of Ko here as a way to churn out 1/1s the opponent can't block. They effectively have Shadow. They can only be blocked by other spirits. Knowledge Seeker's pretty good. Ruinous Waterbending's okay. The problem with the Waterbending, though, is that decks that Waterbend have a lot of creatures. Honestly, Fire Nation Cadets could be the pick here, but I'm just gonna take the land. Clone. I don't know what it is with these screen cap arts. This is the best looking screen cap art out of all of the alternative arts, and it's still pretty kind of bad. Bitter Work, fantastic. I've played a lot of this in the past 3 days or so. Every deck that I've had that had Bitter Work in it has just like 3-0, 6-0'd. I think I'm kind of interested to see how South Polar Voyager goes. Low and Lee is like okay. 5 mana 2/2 is a bit rough. Deadly Precision's fine. Yeah, Bitter Work's good, but I don't want to commit to 2 colors right now. Let's just try this South Pole Voyager and see if we can pick up a few allies. This is a good one to see early in the draft. Okay, this is an ally, and it's also broken. I think everyone in Arena really seems to be sleeping on this card. This card is nuts. It's 2 bodies for Waterbending. It blocks so well. It redraws. It's just so good. Unlucky Cabbage Merchant. In a vacuum, it's a 4 mana, you gain 3 life and get a land. In practice, you can break that mana down over a couple turns. You can do it at instant speed, so you can block with it. Sure, the guy rarely ever attacks. It's almost always better to just pull out the land, but this guy's so good. Earth Kingdom Protectors is like fine. It is white. It's an ally. It's a bit small. Treetop Freedom Fighters is the other thing I'm looking at here with the South Pole Voyager. Raucous Audience, normally pretty good, but I don't know, I'm just going to stick with the Unlucky Cabbage Merchant. He's a pretty flexible guy if we end up playing green. Prison in the Moon. It's kind of mid-removal, not really what I want my removal to be doing, is giving my opponent more mana. Callous Inspector, really good. It's basically like the Thraben Inspector of this set, the Novice Inspector of this set. It's your 1 mana guy that makes a clue. Sure, it doesn't do it when you want it to, like the Novice Inspector does, but it's fantastic in the sacrifice decks. Really hard to block. Momo's whatever. Sabertooth Moose Lion, fine. Not super impressed by this pack. Imprisoned is like okay. Ruinous Waterbending, probably more likely to take the Callous Inspector. See if I can use that in a deck. I did notice the other ally guy. I did see that one, but I'm not a huge fan of that. Okay, so we got Haru. He's good for green-white. ally deck, or like a green-black Earthbending or red-green Earthbending. He's pretty good. Also looking at Foggy Swamp Vinebender here. It's just really hard to block. It's a big chunky thing. It is an ally as well. Haru does need a critical threshold of allies. Again, seeing it early in the draft means that we can hopefully pick those up. Ooh, Toils of War goes well with the Callous Inspector Realm, and I guess, yeah, it makes allies. Rebellious Captives, also a good pick here, ally. Small creature. I didn't know this guy was an ally. That really raises his value. Kyoshi Island Plaza, interesting. I want to play the shrine deck, I really do, but every time I see a shrine, I'm just thinking, oh, but it's the only shrine, I won't find other shrines. And then the next pack invariably has another shrine in it. Okay, so after picking up the Toils of War, we could go for Zal, because he goes really well. We could be in a black-white sacrifice ally deck. He goes really well with the Toils of War. You can sacrifice the clue off his firebending, make a guy, and then pump all your guys that you've made for one. Makes him harder to block. Jungjun's Deserters is an ally. It's a small creature, could be okay, and Daily Indoctrination as a lesson and a flexible spell that could be a creature or a Thoughtseize, very good. Okay, we're kind of looking at Abzan-ish here, but I don't really want to play the Abzan if I don't have to. I'd like to focus more on two colors. We got some good stuff across these, which is making it hard. The Daily Agent's great if we're going on counters, the green-black counters. Ostrich Horse, fantastic for in green. Kyoshi Village, good if we're doing that green-white. I might just pick up Deadly Precision as a removal spell that triggers our Toils of War. Brilliant. Merchant of Many Hats. Happy to see that. Ally, very sacrificable. I think we can just go, we can just go into the white-black deck here. I'm sorry, but it'll work. You're a good card, but this land, I think, has the white-black and the blue-black lands have a little bit more value than the other dual lands, just because their sacrifice matters in white-black and the drawing the extra card matters in blue-black. That last pack, I could have picked up that 3-mana 2/1 that makes 2 allies. Guess we could play a little bit of red for Zal, but that's alright. This guy's not an ally. I think if he was an ally, this card would be a lot better than it is, and as it stands, it's just not that good. Ooh, tough. That's weird. He's an ally, but it's in colors that we don't really want. Airbending Lesson's great. We already have a Canyon Crawler. One's probably enough. Cabbage Guy, brilliant again. But I think this Fire Navy Trebuchet is a combo with Toils of War. Because this, every time you attack, it makes a 2/1, and that 2/1 will sacrifice at the end step. And that 2/1 flies, and so your opponent's really not incentivized to block it. Not a lot of big flyers in this set. So, every attack... You could even attack with the 1/1 made by the Toils of War, just to get into 2 damage if they don't block this, and then at end of combat, or at end step, the 1/1 sacrifices and makes a new 1/1. Fancy Footwork makes blocks really difficult for your opponent. Azula Always Lies also makes blocks really difficult for your opponent. I'm kind of tempted to pick up white to cut it a bit more, just to, shore up our white here. We may end up playing like a red-black deck splashing white. Not where I want to be, but it could be. Or a green-black deck splashing white. Might actually be where we go. Or just Jungjung's Deserters. Pick up a nice ally. I'm going to take the creature. I think Azula Always Lies is the pick there, but I'm going to be honest, I can't think super well right now. There's a lot of wine in me. Path to Redemption. Now, Water Tribe Captain is fine here too, and so is Pirate Peddlers. Pirate Peddlers not an ally, but just as a 3-mana 2/2 Death Touch, it's fine, and then it has other text on it, which is good. This is good. 3-mana 3/3, always good on curve, buffs you guys. Now, Path to Redemption, not normally good, but in the sacrifice deck specifically, activating this 5-mana ability to make a 1/1 and sacrifice a permanent comes up way more often than you'd think. Zuko's Conviction's fine. It's pretty decent when you have the Canyon Crawler to cycle, and then for 5 mana you can just bring it back at instant speed. It is tapped, but in their end step you just drop a 6/6 that makes a food. Once again, Water Trade Captain, pretty good. It's gonna be good and take the land here. Hog Monkey's okay. I haven't had a lot of experience with it though. In fact, I go so far as to say I have none experience with this. I'll take Zuko's Conviction and we'll see if we pick up anything that's worth reanimating. I don't know. I'm just kind of... The set's new enough that I'm testing a lot of stuff right now. Now Toph is broken. This card is so good. Not in any of my colours. I don't think I'm splashing for it. I'll just take the guy who... He's also not an ally, but he does buff up things that can make blocks difficult for my opponent. Glider Kids, ally, flyer. This guy is Daily Agent, pretty good here. Path to Redemption, also pretty good here. I think our removals... We could play more paths, especially in best of one. Our removals, whatever, right now. But we're likely to pick up more removal. It's alright, I'll just take it. As long as we can keep pressuring with these tiny things, then the removal gains a lot of value. Corrupt Court Official, very easy to sacrifice. 2 for 1's your opponent, you can sack it to something and also make them discard a card. Pirate Peddler's good in that it grows, becomes a very difficult to block threat, but I'll just take the guy who's easy to 2 for 1 with. I'd love to take the Cabbage Merchant here. He is good in Sacrifice Themes because his food gives you a sacrifice, like it counts as a sacrifice. But I'm not splashing green for fixing. That's how you get mana problems. Ostrich Horse pretty good if I was green. Zuko good if I wanted to splash red. I'll take Barrels of Blasting Jelly. I'm not desperate to play it, but it is something that is sacrificable to kill something. It helps splash later if I want to, but I think at the end of the draft I'll look at my deck and see if the only removal I have is still these 3, then I'll grab it. Yeah, give me that Foggy Swamp guy. He seems good. Although I also could have taken the 7/7 because with another Zuko's Conviction, we really could be on the reanimate plan with these Canyon Growlers. Let's see if we can make that one work. How to Start a Riot, also good when you're making a ton of 1/1s with Tolls of War. I played with this card a few times. The first Tolls of War is kind of mediocre. The second Tolls of War really cracks the game right open. I just take this really strong green card. The land is kind of okay as well, but Breamy's pretty good. More Zao, always good. Pretending Poxbearers is an ally. It's so hard to block. The opponent never really knows, because there's not a lot of 1/3s in this set early on. There's some 3/3s and stuff, but this trades with most plays 1 to 3 on turns 1 to 3. Corrupt Court Official also here. Could just pick up the extra Zao. I think the Poxbearers will be back. The Firebending's kind of okay. We're not super in a position to make maximum use of it, but I guess it can go towards like Path of Redemption, sacrificing, which is good after this guy attacks. Use the mana to sacrifice a Path of Redemption. Buff you guys. Do a bunch of stuff. Ozai's Cruelty, great. Enter the Avatar state's a little bit better if we have big creatures, which we do have a couple. Third Path to Redemption is a bit whatever. Another Jungjun's a bit whatever. I know this isn't an ally, but it's very good to sacrifice. I think the only thing I'm looking for now is just a couple more ways to actually sacrifice things. I might go so far as to say we have only none, just not brilliant. Yeah, Zao counts sacrificing things, but he himself doesn't actually sacrifice. Technically, this sacrifices. Could take it. Once again, the white-green allies. Maybe we should have been on that plan, but black has seemed more open to me than white. He's just like a 1-mana version of... a 2-mana version of this that has trample, but... I'm gonna try and avoid splashing green. Ugh, except my green is pretty good. I just don't want to think about that right now. Confrontation could be okay. If this was best of 3, I'd be taking that. Leave all my 1/1s in play. Okay, I did say something about that we're mostly black. The Cat Gator could be good if we make it to 7 mana. 7's a lot. Otherwise, the Poxbearer is pretty decent. Earth King, what is that still doing in the pack? Green does look super open. Maybe we should have been on the black-green train. Earth King is bonkers. Absolutely bonkers. Yeah, I should really play green. Anyway, here's me picking the Cat Gator. That's fine. We can cycle for more swamps. Earth Kingdom General, best card in this pack. Anyway, I'm going to take the Rabaroo Troop. Oh, watch us O3. Watch us O3 with this. When we could have had all of the Cabbage Merchants into Cat Gators that we ever wanted. Ah, man. Oh, man. That's okay. Ooh. Aang's pretty good. Compassionate Heal is really good in white-green and your waterbending. Glider Kids is pretty fine. I'm going to take Aang as it's just a little bit better than the Glider Kids. It's one more mana. Ooh, here we go. This is exactly what we're looking for. It is a ETB, sacrifice, attack, sacrifice. Really good outlet. Gets quite big. If your opponent answers it, then it doesn't fully go away. It leaves all of its counters on something that you control. That's exactly the kind of thing that we want to be seeing here. I think there's been not a lot of respect for High Bay. I see that quite late in the draft. I don't know if it's good. I don't know how good it is. All I know is every time I've cast it, it's been really good and often wins me the game. Aang, really good. We're not playing him here, though. Master Piandiao is okay. He's a little slow. He does get the allies out of the deck. We don't have enough lessons for him, though. I'll just take the on-curve 3/3 that can make my 1/1s better. How many creatures are we at? 18. We're at enough creatures. I think we can afford to take Ozai's Cruelty. Just take Toph because it's the best. Oh yeah, more Treetop Freedom Fighters. More green. Okay, 1, 2, 3, 24. Yeah, we could run 16 lands. With the Cat Gator, 17 might be better, but we'll probably be cycling at least one of these Canyon Crawlers, and if we end up cycling them both, then it's fine. Or we could run 2 Zuko's Convictions, 2 Cat Gators, play the Reanimate plan on Razor Rings. I don't know how good that one is. I don't love it. I think most of the time we'll be sacrificing these Misty Palm Oasis to their own abilities, so 17 land is fine. A little bit more black than white. If we cut one more white card, then I'll go down plains, increase the swamp count for the Cat Gator. How many allies? 6. Not super great for these Avatar enthusiasts. Not super great for South Pole Voyager. Tolls of War does mean that we're making more allies than it looks like. But we didn't end up with that many allies. I'm sorry, South Pole Voyager. This is not a good test of your abilities. This is the kind of thing that I might board in a best of 3 if my opponent has flyers, because it has reach, but I don't think it's super useful the rest of the time. Maybe with our land cyclers, 16 lands is fine. I think I'd rather cast these land cyclers most of the time. This is Avatar Enthusiast is just really good with Tolls of War. Kind of wish I had a bit more clue-making ability here, or sacrifice outlets. Fire Nation Engineer? Zhao? I'm going to go down to plains. That might be wrong. We'll find out. It's kind of a 5-drop. Alright, this deck's probably really bad. Once again, don't really want to think too hard about this. Brain no work, no good no more. And we'll see how we go in game 1. Rockwalla. Yeah, actual ranked. So the other thing about the best of 3 is that I keep getting paired against new players because there's no distinction by ranks. You can kind of tell if they're new players. You mouse over their deck and you see that they're like a 60-card deck, or they make really obvious misplays. But here we are in ranks, so we're matched against other people who theoretically could be at a similar level to us. Gran. She's pretty bad on most turns other than turn 1. But this turn 1 Gran could do a lot of work here. Let's get that loot train going. Yes, but blue-black deck wanting to draw 2. If they have enough water bending to back that up, then she could be pretty scary, actually. I think next turn I'd rather play the Engineer than the Trebuchet because I can start growing my Menace creature. That just puts them in a lot of hot water. Just increasing the clock every turn. We can play the Fire Navy Trebuchet later, get some extra damage in, but if we curve into Aang here, consider it I kind of forgot that he gains lifelink if you cast a lesson. I really wasn't picking lessons that highly, so at least we have one lesson in our hand, so that could be worth 3 life, maybe. I'm normally a little bit higher on Mind Rot than effects than some other people are, because if you land it, it's a 2-for-1. It's always a clean 2-for-1. Not always. If you land it, it's a clean 2-for-1, which is just so strong for 3 mana. The 3 mana they typically are. Sometimes they're 4 mana. They have a little bit of other upside, and that's okay. The 3 mana ones typically tend to be a bit better. Obviously, if you top deck a Mind Rot late and your opponent doesn't have anything in hand, then it's really, really, really bad and all that. But set design has just moved in a way that your opponents will often... They're going to quench this. They're just going to quench this. Obvious quench is obvious. Set design has moved that your opponent has more cards in hand than they should. There's so many ways of accumulating resources in Limited... that Mind Rot has taken on a little bit of extra strength. Yeah, this turn has played exactly like I thought it would. Super boring quench, really obvious. Making the block, that's fine. I wanted to take out the Grand. My 2/2 wasn't doing too much more anyway, without growing larger every turn. But these Mind Rots, and this Mind Rot in particular, the 2 damage tacked on does kill people sometimes, and more importantly, it is a lesson. I could play the 3/3 here. The 3/3 blocks pretty well, but I'm just going to get the last 2 cards out of hand. Yeah, see, look at that. Gas. Straight gas. They can refuel with a clue, which is exactly what I'm talking about with these Mind Rots. If I had a second one, like, that would also be brutal here, right? 1 Mind Rot is normally pretty risky to play, but when you're playing formats where 2 of them are good... Okay, here we're getting punished for the only running 16 lands, maybe. Except I don't think any of these cards are the cards that I would have cut to play the extra lands. So let's just get a 3/3 down. And if they can't remove it, it holds back a little bit of the damage until we can get an Aang down. I don't even know if I don't want to airbend either of their permanents with this Aang, to be honest. Energy bending. Generally speaking, do not play this in your decks unless you're really desperate for a lesson. It has the classic Elsewhere Flasks problem of you need to float all the mana you want. Oh no, it's all... They gain all basic land. Okay, so only... Elsewhere Flask makes them only 1 type. And in Arena, back in Brothers War, used to get the classic, your opponent will activate the Elsewhere Flask and not realize that they can't tap their lands for the colors of mana that they used to be able to tap them for. And so they'll activate the Elsewhere Flask, there'll be a 5-second pause, and they'll hit you with the Oops emote, as they are no longer able to cast their multicolored spell that they were using the Elsewhere Flask to tap for. But this does make them into all land types. But it's if you're desperate for a lesson, I guess. But there's only 5 cards that really interact with this. Otherwise, it's a 2 mana fixer that draws a card and is an instant, sure. But yeah. Hammer can take the Ozai's Cruelty or Path to Redemption, and they can cast either straight away. Hammer's really good, obviously, especially when I'm stuck behind on lands. If they don't cast whatever it is and I'm able to completely remove the Hammer, then the Hammer does nothing. But in this case, yeah, whatever. Pretty boring. Come on. Yeah, there we go. They figured it out. Took them a moment, but they got there. What am I discarding here? Zuko's Conviction for sure. Probably just Zhao. Bust my guys up, but I need to maybe Aang then, because there's nothing on board that I really want to. I know he flies, he blocks the Messenger Hog, but there's nothing on board that I want to remove, because Zhao doing this now lets me then next turn I can Tolls of War, Path to Redemption, and use his Firebending to sacrifice the Tolls of War token and potentially getting just a bunch of damage, especially as I have 1 Menacer. The menace creature itself doesn't pump a lot of damage through, but it's something. Yep, they're going to kill him. They're mousing over him a lot. Always watch where your opponent's mouse goes on Arena. It tells you so much about their plans. I myself, you got to be really careful. If you really need to read a card, you just got to mouse over it as quickly as possible, hit that right click to get the Inspect tool. This, and then, mouse over a bunch of other stuff as well, so they're not certain which exact card that you moused over. Yeah, I paid full for that. They'll hit me for 5. Super boring. If they have any way of drawing extra cards, then we're possibly dead. Or I can just stop that one from attacking me. Play a perfectly good chump blocker. Probably not blocking with the Callous Inspector because it deals me 1, so I'll just get in for 1. Put them in a position where if I get a 5th land next turn, then I can probably pump my team for make their blocks awkward. This is what I'm talking about with the best of 1. Like, I think in a best of 3, play 2 more games where we could have totally different land situations, like all sorts of stuff can go on. I could sideboard in cards, whatever. That is not a good card. I don't think you should be playing that. In this case, it's pretty good because it makes a lethal threat in the air. Let's see. I could attack with everything and see if they make bad blocks. That's not going to be a good bet, though. I think we're on Tolls of War, Sacrifice the Clue. Hope that exactly the card I get is the 1 mana kill spell. And if it's not, then we do the old best of 1 classic, value our time, scoop it up, move on with our lives. Yep, whatever. You can probably tell that I'm a little bit unhappy to be playing best of 1. It's just not. It's just... I do play a lot of best of 1 because the Arena Quick Draft is the best... It's the most affordable and accessible draft format on Arena, which is so unfortunate because it's drafting against a bot, which means that often the same strategies are best every time. Like in Dragonstorm Tarkir, Quick Draft, it was always correct to be on 5-color pile or red-white aggro, because the bots just couldn't draft in a way... Oh, this is awkward. I'll keep it there. The bots just couldn't draft in a way that like changed their strategies, right? So it was always correct for the human player to be doing the same thing. And then in a best of 1 format, like it's super swingy. Whoever goes first has a huge advantage in the first game. And then like they just carry that advantage is... Ooh. Sorry, I have to think here. Could pump the guy to get more damage in. I'm gonna hedge on the South Pole Voyager. Get a life here because this is also good to put a counter on if they don't have anything with 3 toughness. Next turn I'll probably cycle this, play this, depending on if I draw a land on it. But yeah, best of 1 sucks. Best of 1 sucks in a bot draft. Best of 1 sucks in human draft because it's twice as expensive to enter, and it has all of the similar problems to bot draft, except at least the drafting experience is a little better because you're playing with real people. Could just sacrifice the Callous Inspector, put some counters on this. Could do Zal first. Might do that because then I can also sacrifice the clue that the Callous Inspector makes when it dies by attacking with Zal. Rabberry Troop's probably the worst of the land cyclers, but I think it's still pretty decent. If you draw lands for the next 2 turns, yeah, okay, they just removed him anyway. If they attack, then I'll double block the something. Yeah, especially if they're casting spells pre-combat. I know they're not going to combat trick me here. Nope, okay. That one would have been a little better with Zhao still on board. 1 ally in hand. I want to sacrifice the Callous Inspector if I'm sacrificing something, or I can wait till I have 5 mana. That also works. Which I guess I could cycle the Rabberoo Troop. Probably just get down Hey Bay. Hey Bye. It's been a couple years since I've seen the show. I don't remember how everything is pronounced. Alright, we've finished the wine. Before next game, gonna go refill because it'll totally help my best of 1 playing abilities. They're gonna make Katara unblockable, are they? Yep. See, you can tell so much about where your opponent's mousing. Yeah, that's fine. That'll grow her. My Spirit of Balance is still going to be tricky for them to deal with as a blue-red deck. I think the worst thing that they could do is tuck this with the Lost Days, but it looks like they're going for a creature, so that's fine. They don't have enough lessons in Graveyard to hit this with Combustion Technique. I don't really want to sacrifice my clue to Hey Bye, but it does make it really awful for them. Quench. You got Quench? Or is this just clue? It's just clue. This is when it leaves the battlefield, so if they don't answer this by making it leave, so they'll probably just tap it down. And if they are doing that, then it might be correct not to sacrifice anything here. Okay, going for the clue. Yeah, alright, I'll send the clue into it. Because this is just 11 damage. I mean, they're going to chump this with the 1-3, and I assume they'll trade that with the South Pole Voyager. Yep. And hopefully they don't hit this with that Watery Grasp or whatever it's called. Yeah, okay. Well, if they bounce this, then I still get to put the counters on Zhao, which is actually pretty good because it makes their attacks awful since they've done this pre-combat for some reason. Try to cast your spells post-combat if you can, because now I still end up with a 7-8 blocker. And so you got another removal spell for me? Get a boomerang? This can't target Katara anymore. Yeah. Really? Okay, so at this point I feel like they're mousing over Deserter's Disciple a bunch to lead me into thinking that they were going to use that, and they actually have a combat trick because they already read it. There's no way that you misread it the first time. Surely, unless you're doing what I'm doing and you're also several wines deep. Show me a combat check. No. Okay. Should have read your Deserter's Disciple on the first pass a bit closer, I guess. Maybe they're doing the double bluff. Maybe they heard me talking about the whole mousing over thing and they're like, oh, I'm going to mouse over stuff a bunch to trick you. Kind of want to cycle this Rabaroo troop now, but because I'd much rather have the land, but it's so mana inefficient. Oh, I can use Zhao's Firebending to do that. Is there anything worth reanimating? Another Zhao, which does sacrifice itself, so that could at instant speed pump Zhao for 1, but I think I'm okay. I'll get him for 7, that's just so much. Could also activate the Realms of Ko here. So I'll just plain cycle this. Yes, I do know I can do this after damage, but no, I don't trust Arena to give me priority. Even if it has given me priority every other time I've done it like that, the one time that you really want it to, it just won't. Because Arena hates you and everyone else who plays the game. Gonna make a really weird play here. Could be super greedy. But it could also be medium. I don't think it was super great, but okay, yeah. Cool. So now next turn we can... I mean, actually, never mind. Next turn we could have done all the things anyway. Drawing an extra card here doesn't change that much. But this South Pole Voyager stops their 2-2 from getting in. The High Bay, I can sacrifice Jum's Deserters to. You know, there's options. Let's get in, and probably with this as well. I think I'm okay trading this. I don't have any other allies in hand. Might end up just using the Firebending to make a 1-1 Spirit. Yeah. I could Deadly Precision. Ah, now they've got a combat trick. Or do they just have priority because... No, this says another. Yeah, okay, there we go. They figured it out. That's fine. I think I will put him second from the top, and I will make the 1-1. Next turn I can attack with the 1-1 and then sacrifice it post-combat. Or right now I could use the Deadly Precision. I don't think I need to though. That's fine. But it's just a resource battle right now, and so every free resource I get off this Realm of Ko, I'm happy with. I could have tried to push more damage by dropping the Spirit of Balance, but I think I'm happy to take it a little bit slower here. Yeah, because I'm on 20 and they're on 12, so they're still under more pressure. Okay, interesting. Well, is that a Spirit? No, Catbird, Human Rebel Ally. Let's get in. Get in there. Sure, this is one of the weak points of the Mindbot effect. They only have 1 card in hand. I'm not going to hold this in case next turn they have 2. I'll just get this down now in case this is a quench. But the 2 damage means that it still does something. Okay, yeah, that's good, cool. Even though they don't discard anything, they're forced to tap down something that's not relevant anymore, which I might end up just sacrificing to this right now. Yeah, because the spirit can't be blocked. So let's throw this away. Bam. And I still got the 2 damage off, and if I had anything that cared about a lesson, then this is a lesson. So the Ozai's Cruelty, I think, does... it is a lot better than just a regular Mind Rat would be. Okay. I think opponent has misread who the beatdown is here. Yeah, I'll go to 18. You're facing down a 5/5 and a 1/1 that you can't block, and are you planning on double blocking? Doesn't seem like a great plan. Could kill something, could Zhao, could attack and sacrifice this. It doesn't chump block. I feel like I'm happy to let the 5/5 die here and move its counters onto the 1/1 because the 1/1 can't be blocked, and then I'll also have removed 2 of their creatures, so this is like a removal spell. Yeah, I think I'm okay with that. And then technically I'm using more of my mana if I make another 1/1 than if I play Zhao. But Zhao gives me more mana later because of the firebending. But if I make a 1/1, I do just kill them in 2 turns, assuming they don't play a spirit. Which there are a couple of spirits in blue, I think. I have to be careful, because that 2/1 that gets a counter on it when you draw a second card, that thing is a spirit. It's not great at blocking until you play a second spirit, but it is a spirit. Okay, 4/3. So they have 8 damage on board next turn. I'm still going to kill you in 2 turns unless you do something about this, and I can kill a creature. Probably the Geyser Leaper. Ooh, Tolls of War also pretty good. 1 mana short of doing this with Zhao, sacrificing the... ooh. So I could drop this, play Zhao, and then sacrifice the clue, pump my guys, put them to 2. And make an ally. Or I could just drop this, make another 1/1. The 1/1 doesn't matter because the 1/1 can't block. The question that you always have to ask yourself is, how do I lose this? I'm ahead, I'm winning. What are the plays that make me lose? Like, what lines can I take that will make me lose? And I think the answer here is not leaving up a blocker for some reason. I think I'm very far away from losing, especially if I kill this. But if I took a line where I don't kill the Geyser Leaper, there's a 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. If they play How to Start a Riot, then I die. They can give Menace to the prowess creature, like get him in the air, or make this unblockable, whatever. It's there are spells that cool. And then this way, opponent's just done with me. All right, moving back up the ranks, steady climb all the way back up to Mythic number 1, where we were before the reset. I'm gonna go fill up this wine glass, and I'll see you for the next game. Okay, have more wine. Checked on my budgie. He's okay. He's got a foraging toy that's like a little cup with a lid on it that's hard for him to get through, and you put seeds in the cup, and so it's meant to engage them as they try and get the seeds out. Except he has it hangs off a chain, and he keeps landing on the chain, like in flying and grabbing the chain, and it makes the cup spill the seed everywhere, and so then there's no more seed in the cup. And so he's just complaining that the cup is empty, even though it is entirely his fault, and the seed is in fact all over the floor, which he could still get to. Okay, turn 1 Grand Ground on the play is pretty good. They can start the looting train. It's going to be a while before we can do anything about that. Even my 0/4 can't block it. I did hold on to this hand because I can get the white mana, which I could take a turn off to Court Official. It's not really blocking very well. I think I'll just grab the white mana this turn. But play draw difference, best of 1 format. Yep, you got your 1/2 looted down on turn 1. You're significantly more likely to win the game. If any of you have ever heard of 17 lands before, brilliant thing. Records all of this data from all the people who run it on their computers. Shows you which cards are more likely to win you the game, which cards are better. When, because it tracks the win ratio of any given card when it's drawn later in the game and when it's drawn in your opening hand. I feel Grand Grand's going to be one of those cards that's like a 60-70% you win 60 or 70% of the games that it's in your opening hand, and like 30% of when you draw it much later in the game. Court Official has power toughness, but it's good. I know the Trebuchet is not going to do anything for a little while because I'm not attacking, but it is far more mana efficient, and when they inevitably quench this, because they always have quench, and it's always super telegraphed and really boring, like I don't really care as much. I'll play my 3/4 next turn, that's fine. Unless they play something big and I'm compelled to stop it from attacking while also finishing off their hand. I know a lot of people were really quite low on the quench for some reason. I remember quench being very annoying to play around when it was originally printed. Sure, that was a significantly much lower powered threat. The threats in that set, sorry, had much like lower power and stuff. But there had been previous sets where there were quenches with more text on them that were worse, like the Revolutionary Rebuff from Kaladesh, which could only counter non-artifact spells in a set about artifacts. That card was bad, but Quench being able to hit anything is much stronger. And then, sure, it's no mana leak, it's no 3 mana, but the point is curving out. Like, the 2 versus 3 mana difference wasn't huge. Yeah, so they're just going to curve out here, and I didn't stand a chance because this is best of 1. The 2 versus 3 mana was negligible when you're playing on curve, and then this one also has a very relevant card type. So me casting a spell kicked up the Grand into overdrive here, or no, the First Time Fly and the Grand, right? It's a shame because their deck doesn't look that great. They have a bunch of lessons, but Solstice of Revelation is not a good card. Then again, Firebending Lesson, very good. Yeah, any of those cards. Did they miss a land drop? Because they were on the play. Yes, they've discarded a bunch of lands to Grand. Got a bit greedy here. Yeah, sure. You can get rid of your Watery Grasp. That's fine. Next turn I'll try to stabilize with a Canyon Crawler. Hopefully the damage hasn't been done to an irreparable level. Yeah, that's okay. And then you can tap your First Time Buyer to not have to discard. It's pretty strong. Oh, tap Grand for an extra draw. Well, I'm happy not to take 1 damage here. This is where they can play Island, leave up the second quench. Sure, the third quench loses a lot of its market share or whatever you want to call it, and you don't want to be playing it in games where you go long. But in any sort of tempo game, which most draft decks, excuse me, most draft decks are trying to play some kind of tempo plan, the quench is just really good. It's the closest blue has to just a clean answer to everything. If we get another swamp here, this Cat Gate is going to be nuts, assuming they don't just quench it. Yeah, and then also the quench plays into that. They just Ancestral. Did you see that? My opponent Ancestral recalls, and now watch. They're probably going to do it again, because the first Accumulate Wisdom, putting 3 cards in hand, almost always finds the second Accumulate Wisdom. Yeah, they removed my 6/6. I still get to keep my food, and they don't have a thick clock, but I'm just... Every single card I play is probably going to be answered. And they have way more resources than I do. Maybe they'll mill out. They're only on 13. Maybe I just have to block every turn. Tells War is pretty good with this food. They have something else up. It's also pretty good with the path. I'm going to Tells War, and I'm going to draw a card and try and hit a land here, because that Cat Gator is very important to get to if they do end up ever tapping out of their next obviously telegraphed quench. Yeah, okay, that's pretty good, because now if we do hit another land, we can play Canyon Crawler next turn around quench. We'll also maybe eating the food if we don't have to eat the food this turn. This is a very threat-light deck that's heavily relying on its lessons here. Okay, I get to kill one of my creatures. That's pretty good. They're tapped out of quench though, so if I can get this 6th swamp for the Cat Gator and then kill the Mongoose Lizard, we're so back. Just don't play Island here. Don't play Island here. Yeah, there you go. See, it's all fine. Oh, no, maybe they're deciding to hold on till second main. Yep. Yeah, I think this Mongoose Lizard's just going to kill me because of the menace. Or, hear me out, I could deal 6 to it and gain 6 life. How does that sound, opponent? Does that sound good to you? Does that sound good? What are you going to do, bounce a swamp? No, I think they're holding up a firebending lesson. Oh, combustion technique. Very similar effect. I don't think I'll block this turn. I think I'll block the next turn. So let's just get 1 point of damage in here before we go to full stabilization mode. Ah, never mind. Opponent plays broken card that makes them win the game. The only good news is that they're down to 7 cards in library, and this Grand can only attack so many more times before it's all over. But this Fire Nations Cadets is going to kill whatever blocks it. They have enough mana to make it huge. And this is again why you want to play best of 3, because sometimes you hit the Legend of Roku, sometimes you don't. You don't want to only win all of the games where you hit the Legend of Roku and lose everything else. Sure, maybe you can try drafting a more balanced deck so that doesn't happen, but it's just going to happen where some games you have your bomb and some games you don't, and you don't want it to be the be-all, and sometimes your opponent has the bomb and sometimes you don't. You don't want it to be the be-all and end-all of the whole situation. I'm just dead in the air here. All they need to do is put 1 more non-creature, non-land in graveyard. Yeah. Whatever. Once again, another super boring best of 1 game. You probably didn't come here to watch me just salt off over best of 1, but I genuinely believe that it makes such worse content. Alright, let's see if we can win another couple games, maybe 6 before we lose our next one. Maybe we'll be on the play. Maybe not. Maybe I should put 1 more land in here. I think I'm probably okay. Yeah, maybe I should. We got the 3 land cyclers, so I'm like, it's okay, we don't need more lands. We have the land cyclers, but you don't really want to spend your second turn land cycling in a best of 1 format, especially if you're on the draw. Like if your opponent drops any sort of threat early. This extra land does mean I can curve into Water Tribe Captain at least. So I'll do this, then the Water Tribe Captain, then if we're still missing a land drop, then I'll cycle one of these and then sack a clue, and hopefully we'll be okay. Okay. 3-1. Maybe I'm just sacking the clue on my turn to make a blocker that really messes with that. I think the most mana efficient thing for me to do though is what I previously said, especially as we now want to cycle one of these to move towards having enough swamps for this cat gator. Sucker's pretty good. Let's see if they can follow up with a land drop. I don't really want to trade with this Yuyan archers, because I know later I can make a 1/1 that's just good at blocking it. Ooh, what on earth are they playing? Why are they playing? Are they Grixis? Jeskai? What's the... Okay, and they'll just bounce this for the tempo play. It's kind of fine. 4th land, I think doesn't change anything. I still want to get a swamp. And I still want to make the 1/1 that blocks the Yuyan archers. Sure, Sokka's a little bit more unchecked here, but just in terms of mana efficiency, like I'd be leaving 1 mana unspent, and then my next turn would be awkward with the 5 mana. This way I can 5 mana either drop the Water Tribe Captain and the Jongjong's Deserters, or the Rabaru Troop. And I'm thinking maybe Rabaru Troop, as I try and play more lands and gain some life, or I can play the Avatar Enthusiast and then just make it really big. So this can be a 5/2 or 2/5. That is pretty awkward. The 3/3 makes this thing worse. Let's just work on making Avatar Enthusiast bigger than Sokka. I'm going to put the counter on the Deserters itself, because then their flexible Waterbender will either trade with a 2/3 or just be blocked by it and not be able to get through, which is not where you want to be, and that's what makes this card bad. Yep, okay, so they got rid of the 3/3, which could have killed the Rabaru Troop as well, so that's fine. If they attack with Sokka, I probably will double block here, because the 3/3 does the same thing. Oh, or I can just kill the 3/1. Very similar effect, but now I get to keep my 2/3 for their 2/5. Ooh! Yeah, let's just get these last two cards out of your hand. Ah, okay, never mind, just lands. Rabaroo Troop is okay. I want more swamps, so I want to cycle this, but I want to cast this more than I want to cast the Rabaroo Troop because it's a 6/6 Death Toucher. Blocks everything forever, and the food works well with Tolls of War. So sorry, Cat Gator, you're going to be a little bit smaller. Yeah, I'll block the 2/5. Now you can trade with a 2-drop if you want. Yeah, okay, didn't think so. So they had swamp. They haven't. This is the only black card we've seen. Maybe they just want ally count. I'm not sure. Do you have 2 swamps? Can't kill Soccer. We'll run out the Cat Gator this turn and kill the 4/2. Because if they don't have any lessons or anything, I might be able to trade with Soccer while continuing to block with the Deserters. And if I draw a land next turn, I can Canyon Crawler and then also eat the food straight away, make a 1/1, gain the life. Yeah, this is the kind of hand where I don't want the 17 lands, because sure, we have to cycle a couple of these, but if I had flatted out, then... okay, just doing that pre-combat for the counter on Soccer, but now... yeah, now I'm going to double block that if they attack. That's a bad attack. I don't think opponents should have done that, because they can only trade with my Cat Gator. Whereas next turn, if they played a couple of lessons, artifacts, whatever, or it's a very good blocker. Okay. Deadly Precision. I don't want to sacrifice anything right now because I don't really have to. Like, I could play the Canyon Crawler, make a food, sack the food to kill this. I don't think I have to do that. I think next turn I can just pay the 5 for this. If I draw a land, I can pay the 5 for this and cast Water Tribe Captain. If I don't, I'll eat the food and make a 1/1. And pay for this, depending on what we get. Yeah, that blocks pretty well. It's a good thing to be splashing for. Pretending Poxberries is very good, but I don't know if I'd splash for it. It's doesn't have a lot of useful abilities. Okay, yeah, that's good. That's good. Flexible Waterbender still doesn't have a profitable attack though. Yeah, you can attack. I'll just keep blocking this. If you want to flip it at some point and trade with my 2-drop, I'm more than happy. What are you trying to do? Run down my clock? Okay, now I kind of want to spend 7 mana to just remove a creature, but I think I'm better off if they get the Merchant back, play the Merchant, then it's gone forever. It's just that this thing's activated ability will start killing me pretty quickly. So I guess I can kill it with the Precision in that case. Remove that one. Make my guy. Shore up my life total. Don't know if you guys can hear that siren, but we actually live next to a fire station. So we get the fire truck coming out all hours of the day, 1 AM, 3 PM, whichever. Yeah, okay, opponent thinks this is MTGO and they're going to run down my clock. There's no clock in Best of 1, and I have more timeouts than you do. Well, we just reached the same amount, but yeah. I think it's worth spending 7 mana to just remove this forever. They have something? You're going to deal 2 damage to your own Merchant of Many Hats here? In which case you should have done it in response to the path, so I didn't get the 1/1s. Yeah, okay. This Water Tribe Captain looking pretty good with all these creatures. I think I'd be a bit more scared of that if my opponent had more cards in hand. Ooh. Now this is the turn that we put the South Pole Voyager in for. Except we know they can deal 2 damage, so they will just kill it in response to my Water Tribe Captain. Oh no, okay. What are they holding up? Oh, is it the Flexible Waterbender? Another ally, could drop that this turn, get another life. Or I could drop the Callous Inspector and then hope I can sacrifice a permanent, make a 1/1, and then play the Merchant. This Menace also good with Water Tribe Captain. I can push through a lot of damage. I'll lose creatures, but I can push through a lot of damage with this. Okay, so they're casting something during combat. They're going to do 5 damage to 2 of my creatures. Oh, okay. Give their creatures +4/+0 Menace? The +4/+0 doesn't matter, because all of my creatures are small, and I had to stack up a bunch of them to kill these anyway. So they can make this a 9/2 if they need to. That's whatever. I think it's just... I mean, I could just not block here. Go to 2. I think so something like this doesn't really happen again. I'll just eat one of their creatures, that's fine. I'll get a clue from it, which is... If I wasn't getting the clue, I probably wouldn't do this, but the clue makes an ally, gains me life, draws me a card. Like, it's just so useful here. Because now I can spend 4 mana, gain the life back that I lost. Oh, I could do this too. It's alright. I'll just gain my life, draw my cards. Yeah. Yeah. Alright. Yeah. Tolls of War is decent. Definitely would much rather have 2 or 3 in my deck. The versions of the Tolls of War deck that do the best have those, or the airship, the Zeppelin, that says in your end step, if you've sacrificed any permanent, then you make a copy of this. It's a 4/4 flyer with crew 1, and then if you have 8 of them, they all turn themselves on. So it's like if you have 8 of them, then you can swing for 20. Well, more than 20, because it's 8. You can, if they've gained a little life, then you can swing for more. If they have a flag blocker, then you can, it's almost guaranteed lethal in most situations. That card is busted. I wouldn't be surprised if that is just the best card in the entire set. Alright, hopefully we're on the play again here. No, we're on the draw. Is this hand good on the draw? Blocker, discard this. It curves. I'd much rather have a creature here, but like, an above rate toughness on turn 2 is important on the draw. Yeah, it's fine. That's super awkward. Definitely would much rather have the swamp here. That's okay. We'll be fine. We'll be fine. Yeah, they're not going to be super aggressive. Do I still want to play the Deserters? I think so. I think I can Deserters into either Careless Inspector and Court Official, or I can Cruelty them, get their hand down, and then just take the last card with the Corrupt Court Official whenever I want to. Yeah, Flying Blocker. I won't be able to stop that anyway. Ooh, they can't kill the Deserters, so I might do the old... If they're scared of a combat trick, they may not block at all. I think more experienced players will always block this. Like, they really don't care if you want to spend a whole combat trick killing a 1/3 that's already made the clue. Like, it is 100% correct to block this. If I want to spend my mana, my turn, and a card killing a 1/3 that now has no other text, yeah, absolutely. I'm not sure whether I had to think so hard about it, but I wish this Fire Nation Engineer could put the counters on itself, but then I guess it would be probably too close to a Luminarch Aspirant, the one that just puts a counter on something every combat. That card is so strong. Yep. Bounce the 2-drop, that's plenty fine, I think. It's my smaller creature that was tapped. Sure, you can turn this into a 3/3 now, but I can play my Deserters and put a counter on the Fire Nation Engineer, and then I can just block this Submersible. That seems pretty good. Yep, let's do that. And the Corrupt Court Official, will they still have cards in hand? Or... yeah, there's a chance that they won't even have 2 cards on my turn in future now, so the Cruelty loses value, but they have a bunch of clues. They might be compelled to play to crack them to make the Messenger Hawk bigger. They might have... yeah, here we go. They might have only one play that they can make, like 1 4-drop creature with no follow-up land. Yeah, I think this Cruelty will still be good. And it will. It will still be good. Cruelty will be good. Don't quote me on that. It's only slightly more awkward now that I didn't draw the extra swamp, so I can't Callous Inspector and then hold up the Conviction, but I think we're at the point in the game where the Conviction is going to be a 5-mana Instance B reanimate. A couple more 2-drops. This would have replaced itself. This flies. It's not big, but it does fly. I could trade the Engineer with the Submersible. It doesn't seem like the best trade. If they thought I had a combat trick, then they may not block it, but I think in this situation, you just block it with all your creatures and see what I do. Or block it with the Submersible and a Compassionate Healer, or the Forecasting Fortune Teller. Yeah, more compassionate healers. They're fine if you don't have any other permanent ways of sinking into waterbend. This submersible can only waterbend once, so you can't just keep tapping your compassionate healers. It's important. I don't know. I might do this. See if they want to throw their submersible under this. They don't. Yeah. Because you see, the realm of Co meant that I had priority, even so it seems like I had a combat trigger, even though I didn't. Otherwise, you could try and hold full control to make it seem like you do. If they did block, that'd be okay. It'd mean that I'd move towards Zhao, being able to get my 1 power creatures through their 2 toughness creatures. Yeah, that's fine. It's a strong tempo play, but it doesn't stop me doing too much else. Yeah, you can waterbend this into a creature now. There's no reason to do that. Yep, no reason at all to do that. It's an instant. It can't attack this turn. I will 100% be just eating these compassionate healers. Although I could eat the 3/3, I guess. No, I think I'd rather just remove more of their bodies. They have a lot of guys around, and all I need to do is stick 1 or 2 creatures with some toughness, and they just can't hit me with anything other than the Messenger Hawk anymore. So I could Zhao and still hold up the mana as a sacrifice. I think now that I'm on 8 and they have a flyer, I'm just going to regain some of the life, and then... Now, as long as I don't have another removal spell or invasion submersible, then I'm in good shape. If they have a 3rd invasion submersible, then well done, you've picked the 3 best blue cards in the set. Well, the best blue card in the set 3 times. What the hell were your other drafters doing? If you don't have another invasion submersible, then the Rebel Troop, I can still block, survive. Yeah, that's pretty good. That gets me dead in 2 turns if I don't answer it. I do think the Giant Koi is underrated. That card is just quite good. So if I block there, I just need not go to 5 life. That's awkward, because this takes me to 5. Yeah, do this. I think Swamp and like Cat Gator is some of my best draws. I can reanimate the Court Official during their draw step. I don't think the Conviction is doing a ton right now. I might eat the Clue now, because if I draw like a removal spell, another Zhao? Not what I'm looking for. So I'm on, as long as they don't draw, as long as they don't get a Clue or anything, then I'm on 1 next turn, which is really bad, because then I need to draw land and removal spell. I don't think there's any way out of this. Really need to put a land into play on their turn so I can block their flyer. I think Swamp Cat Gator is just not... doesn't kill any of their stuff. I'd need Swamp Cat Gator. And we're way too far away from that. Another flyer. Okay, so I'm dead 3 ways. I could try just kill them, I guess. Doesn't really do anything. I mean, it doesn't do anything to... It does a lot to kill them, but like... Sorry, this Tolls of War doesn't do anything. I don't think I'm very close to killing them, is what I meant to say. That would have been good a couple of turns ago. I think even if they make bad blocks here, I can't really take advantage of that. Yep. And... yeah, Sky 2 is the correct thing to be doing there. 1 on top, which means they probably even had something on top of that. Can stop this from attacking, but look, there's not a lot that a lot of decks can do about double invasion submersible. That card is one of the top blue cards, for sure. Extra land here would have kept me in the game, funnily enough. One more land would have gave me a life. They're not drawing 2. So, yeah, I was correct to kind of dig down to the lands, but that's okay. Oh well. And because it's best of one, I don't get to try and play another couple of games to even it out, you know. I once saw somebody commenting on Reed Duke's video. Reed Duke had posted a video on Best of 3, and someone had the gall to comment, "Real pros only play Best of 1 because it increases your rank." And first of all, no. Real pros love going Best of 3 and picking up all these qualifier points. And second of all, Reed Duke is a real pro. I don't know if you knew who Reed Duke was, but yeah, he's almost certainly way better at Magic than you are, random commenter on the internet. So anyway, that was a little bit disappointing. We played 5 games, we won 2 of them, 250 gems. I have an 85% win rate in traditional, in the best of 3, but you can only increase your rank one way. I guess since this video might be a little bit too short, I don't want to draft again, but I'll play some standard. Make it clear, I hate standard. I do not like where standard is at right now, in that it's 70% blue-black, which is super boring. But we'll play some standard, and I have this land destruction deck because I like playing land destruction. It's not very good against blue-black, but it cheeses out all of those greedy decks. Yeah, this is fine. That existed before the bannings, before, you know, blue-black was a 2-color deck. There was some lovely 3- and 4-color decks. It was just so easy to hate out by hitting the right color, like the 4-color control piles and stuff like that. It just couldn't deal with any sort of land destruction, and Avatar introduced some land destruction spells, a couple more land destruction spells that I'm glad to have. So did Edge of Eternities. There's just not enough density of these spells these days to make it like a strong deck, and Wizards is doing that very much on purpose, but with their long standard, eventually you can add up all these single individual cards. Okay, so opponent's playing some kind of landfall deck, which means that the land destruction is probably not going to be very good here. I don't have the double red to Magmatic Hellion. They don't even have non-basics. They'll probably just come out turn 2. Gotta say, this probably sucks as a bonus game. Never mind, I can kill both their creatures. Boombox for sure. And probably the thing that destroys non-basics that I can't cast. Hold on to Demolition Field or remove their land on my turn, and then we'll see what they can do. Yeah, more Chocobos. That's fine. I have an Extinguished Battleship queued up. Very tempting to just target that land with Territory Forge, but then they will sacrifice it in response. The unblockability is not relevant. Let's take out a forest. Gets me closer to 2, 4, 6. Gets me closer to being able to extinguish a battleship, especially if I stock up and pick up another land. Yep, opponent had to read this card because who the hell plays this? I don't think Territory Forge is good. I think it is one of the better land destruction spells that we have right now, because it can hit basics and it can hit other artifacts if you need it to. But 5 mana is so much. If this was 4 mana, then I think land destruction would actually be viable in standard. But at 5, no, not a chance. Not a chance. Yeah, let's make this Chocobo 3/4, which is kind of my last chance to kill it with the 4 damage off this. We're well beyond that now. So I think it'll be, next turn I'll have to pay 6 on the Boombox, or Deadly Cover-Up's pretty good. Could guarantee my next land for the Battleship. Less important when the Cover-Up's here. So Price of Freedom is in this deck because Deadly Cover-Up doesn't say that you can't remove a basic, and it doesn't limit how many number of cards you can pull out of their deck. So that if they are a mono green deck, the next turn I'm going to Deadly Cover-Up and I'm going to take every single forest out of their deck. So they have 8 damage on board. Every land they played at least adds 2. Hopefully I'm not just dead this turn. If I'm not dead, then they will have no more basics in the rest of their deck. This is a funny one. This is extra good against mono-colored decks. I've pulled every mountain out of mono-red before. It's just... It's one of those things where you just... Every other card like this doesn't really let you pull all of the basics out of their deck, for good reason. So you assume that this card might also be the same, but... if you're paying attention, then I can collect evidence, and I will now proceed to pull every single forest out of their deck, because Price of Freedom doesn't say non-basic land. So that's why it's in here. It's a card that cycles that can hit their... yeah, that's kind of scary. Let's see what it does when you have no more mana. 2, 3, 4. Make sure I really do get all of them. 9, 6, 7, yeah. Yeah. No more forests. No more forests in there. What else have they got? Chocobo, Ice Till. Yeah, that's fine. They won't have many relevant lands in graveyard. It's if they have non-basic ways of making green mana. Okay, so all they've got left is Barsing Says. And they can't tutor those off of any of these spells that make mana. Yeah, or tutor lands. Yep, okay. No more forests. There you go. And on top of all of that, I'll just stock up. Ooh, One Chi Tong. And a way that makes them shuffle their library. So One Chi Tong draws extra cards. Yep. Yeah. No artifact, 1 creature, 1 land. And then I will price... Actually, I don't even need the One Chi Tong. I'm just going to Price of Freedom their land. And they have no more basics in the deck. Flawless victory. Here we go. Even if they have a Barsing Say and it just taps. They only have 3 Barsing Says in the whole deck, and their hand is got 4 drops in it. So there we go. We're stabilized on 4 life. It'll probably take my opponent a little while to realize what's going on. I'm just going to One Chi Tong them when they crack this escape tunnel, and then I'll draw a card and they'll scoop because they realize they have no forests left in the deck. Or I could just put this in as a... Let's see. 2, 4, 6, 7. I could even Demolition Field the escape tunnel. Yeah, look, they're going to scoop as soon as they see that the deck has no forest in it, I'm sure. 2, 4, 5. Put this X as 5. I didn't realize that this was a trigger. I didn't realize that when this enters, it then puts the counter. I always thought it entered with the counters. Definitely a few games I would have played differently in paper if I'd known. They haven't scooped yet? What are you doing, opponent? Yeah, there we go. Alright, game 2. Need to kill their small creatures, need to chump block their big creatures while gaining some life back. Zal's not good because they don't have non-basics. Don't want any of these. Do want ways that kill their stuff. Boombox is probably a little slow. I think Ruinous Rampage is okay. It'll be outclassed pretty quickly, but if they don't have the pump spells and if they don't have Bristly Bill in specific, then it's okay. Territory Forge is worse since they're on mono green. And so is Price of Freedom. I just need to get 1 basic into their graveyard and then I can pop off. I don't exactly have a mapped sideboard. I never have a mapped sideboard. The thing about mapped sideboards is it does assume that everyone is on exactly the same deck list, which on Arena is... It is true that everyone is, in fact, on exactly the same deck lists. You can just, like, oh, I see mono green. I can Google the mono green. I'll go to... yeah, I probably need this. I'll go to MTG Goldfish and I'll see exactly the deck that they have. Like, doesn't account for, you know, for taste, the brewer's advantage. Sometimes people will brew slightly differently, a couple of singles that are different, but just once you reach the higher ranks on Arena, or if you're not playing, actually, it doesn't even matter if you're on the higher ranks or not. It's just on Arena, everyone just copies and pastes the same deck. So you can look it up and you can see what you're dealing with. So you probably can map your sideboards on Arena. Where I play in paper, people have preferences, taste, you know, they play a couple of things because they prefer different play styles, things like that. But in paper, you're playing for fun and you're not playing to just churn as many wins as possible, which is deeply ironic because it always felt like Arena, you're meant to be playing for fun because you can play for free. Whereas in paper, at paper tournaments and stuff, normally you have to pay for entry. Pretty sure I'm dead here because I'm on the draw, but we'll Okay, if I survive one turn, then I'll be able to live, hopefully, by discarding Deadly Cover-Up. I don't have a lot of mana values here. As long as I don't put another more than one counter. Okay, yeah, we're fine. And of course, the other thing that Arena has done is metagames get solved so much faster. You can do tons of testing in paper, but there's nothing quite like being on Arena, having all the information of every deck info dump, and then just being able to play 12 games in a row for free every single day. You know, more than 12, like 30 games in a row for free every single day. Your metagame gets solved so much faster. So in that regard, I can understand why Wizards of the Coast has started releasing sets faster, because the solved metagames stay less stale. But on the other hand, no one can keep up with the amount that costs, especially if you're a paper player. Yes, I haven't put a forest in graveyard, so I can't strip every single forest out of the deck. That's okay. I think I'm going to remove... I've seen 2 chocobos. Ice Till, since I'm destroying their lands, I don't want them to replay them. Okay, they've gone down Ice Tills. Sure. Yep. Earthbend 2. 3 mana. That will kill me. I need to Magmatic Hellkite. One of the Barsing Says. I could Price of Freedom the forest. I think if I just hit the other Barsing Say, then the forest won't get big enough for it to matter against my 4/5. Yeah, floater green. I mean, that's good good practice. It's almost always correct to just float mana before your thing dies. There's many plays I've been able to make because my opponent has forgotten to float or just neglected to float when they thought it didn't matter. And I'm not saying that it almost always does, but if your opponent's going after lands, it probably does matter. Yep, you can get a land and double trigger the Chocobo. I need to find something good off of a stock up, like something really good off of a stock up. Otherwise, I'm just going to be overrun here. This land is tapped. Okay, so I do have an untapped source. So, if I survive a turn, then I'll be okay. Oh, Arena auto tapper using the blue there, so I can't then follow it up with another stock up. If I had $1 for every time I'd lost to the Arena auto tapper, then again, my opponents do also lose to the Arena auto tapper, so, you know, the hand that giveth, or rather, the hand that taketh also giveth. Yeah, I'm just dead here as long as they know to attack with everything, which, yeah. I haven't had any priority stops, so they know I don't have a removal spell. Maybe I could have hold full control, but in a casual game with no snakes, whatever. Go for it, opponent. Get me dead, whatever. Yeah, the mono green matchup is probably the worst thing for the land destruction deck to pull up into, apart from mono red maybe. I'm here to destroy all the non-basics, and if your deck registers like 10 basics or more, then yeah, good on you. Wow, no. The demolition fields can be fixing sometimes, but in this case, like, my opponent has no non-basics other than Barsing Say that I'm going to be able to hit, so... this hand is still bad, though, because my only game plan is reach Magmatic Hellion on turn 4. I have no ramp to it, I have no nothing. My opponent ramps, and they kill me really quickly, because Standard is a fun and interactive format. At least I'm not playing Best of 1. Best of 1 is all just aggro decks, and it's so boring. It's whoever gets to play wins. There's no way of playing anything other than aggro. Yeah, turn all your lands into creatures. I wish I had some way of punishing that, but unfortunately Earthbending is pretty forgiving. And they can just drop Ouroboros, and if they do, I'm going to scoop. No, okay. That's a good one. You're going to Snakeskin Veil me? No, didn't think so. So they have no non-basics, and this demo field doesn't do anything. Yeah, because the Earthbending is pretty forgiving, because if the forest is destroyed or put into exile, then or the land is destroyed or put into exile, then it goes back to the battlefield. So the only thing to do about it would be bounce them. So maybe I should be, in the land destruction deck, I should be playing mass bounce. I am playing blue. I don't know if there's any good mass bounce in standard right now. I don't have the second black for this deadly cover-up. That's super awkward. Guess I'll hold up a 3/3 one-sheet Tong. Doesn't feel great. Maybe they'll play a Fabled Passage. Although that in itself is scary because of the Tifa. Yeah, okay, they have a Fabled Passage. I get my guy down. If they have an Overprotect, though, then I'm just probably dead. Because they can make this 5 and then double it to 20. Sorry, 10. What am I thinking of? Double it to 10. They've already... Yeah. If they attack, I am trading. Because if they have an Overprotect, then I get it out of hand and I can deadly cover up. Feels like if they have the Overprotect, then they should have played it on this before playing the land, because then I'd almost certainly be dead. More one-sheet Tong, and I guess I have double board wipe. Still think I need the insurance of this last goodbye. In case they try and, I don't know, kill me with Lana or else. A long way off from harnessing this Terminus. Unless I want to run out one-sheet Tong in their end step and harness it on my turn. And then deadly cover up. The following turn, that's just like as a 3-turn line that's a bit slow against an aggro deck. Yeah, there's the Basing set. Okay, so the demo field does have text here, which is nice. Kind of why I thought I would need it, just in case they came out with the land that I 100% needed to answer. Could it? No, I have no blue mana. Can't ambush with one-sheet Tong. That's okay. Hit the Basing Say, let them cast an Overprotect if they have it. It feels like they have a Snakeskin Veil, because they've had priority at every decision I make, but they haven't been able to save anything, so... black, blue, yeah, more blue. And the good thing about the earthbending here is that I can kill the forest, and before its trigger resolves, I can strip every other forest out of the deck. That said, they're already at 5 mana, and so they will just be able to play anything that they draw, and stripping all the forest means that they have no dead draws. But yeah, there's their Snakeskin Veil. But it does mean... it does make it much harder for them to landfall, significantly harder for them to landfall. And it does mean as I start stripping their other lands away, they will eventually run out of mana. Yep, Tifa's fine. I guess I'll long goodbye it. They'll just get the Snakeskin Veil out of hand. If I find another long goodbye, then... Start stripping their lands. Play towards Extinguisher Battleship. So this will be 4 next turn. They have no way of getting more than 4 on me. I'll wait on the Price of Freedom, because I can... They might just scoop to this deadly cover-up, to be honest. Leave creatures in case I do harness the Terminus of Return. I mean the Infinity Zone. Whatever you want to call it. I don't think I'm really scared of any... I'm just going to take out their Basing Says. I know that I have ways of destroying it, but... It's the kind of thing that if they get more than one in a row, then... Yeah, that's fine. Do this one for 4. Draw a couple cards. Then Price of Freedom their lands. Just start working on those lands. Because that'll get it out of range of this Extinguished Battleship, so I'll still be able to battleship while also keeping my one-sheet on. And now I can give it lifelink. I think One-Sheet Tong is a silly card. It's just... It's a lot like Hydroid Crassus. Yes, Hydroid Crassus drew the cards and gained the life even if you countered it, but like this having flash makes it hard to counter anyway. Then it has vigilance. Then it's not green, so you don't have a deck building restriction. It's just so strong, especially in any format with fetch lands. Lifelink this up. Kill the Chocobo. Whoops. Never mind. I thought this dealt damage to each creature. I'm thinking of Slagstorm. This is in here for the artifact matchup. I have a different deck that runs Slagstorm, not Ruinous Rampage. That's fine. This just burns the opponent out as well. That's okay. Yeesh. Whoops. Look, I have a different deck with Slagstorm, and I am several wines deep. I'm sure you all came here to watch me make horrible misplays. Opponent is on 1 after taking 8 and then doing this, so yeah, okay. There's your little bonus game, watching me bully the mono green deck and absolutely forget what the text on the Ruinous Rampage is. Okay, well, the draft was a bit disappointing. To be honest, I didn't think that Land Destruction deck would win a game, and I thought we'd finish on a loss, which would be also super embarrassing. But hey, I'm here to embarrass myself already. Got a little bit of wine left. I'm going to finish that, but we will catch you for the next game. And remember, do as I say, not as I do, and definitely don't do as I say either. Wine and draft rarely pairs well together. Beer and draft, cocktails and draft, whatever, alcohol and draft does not pair well. It's bad for your liver, it's bad for your draft, it's bad for your win rate, it's just bad for all of them. But I'm here to do it so that you don't have to. Don't try this at home, and we'll see you for the next one.